recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios, Meanjin, Brisbane.
On 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Zed Games.
Zed Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture. Want to reach out?
Share your hot take?
Or do you just want to share your favourite game?
Find us on socials at Zed Games AU.
Hello, you're listening to Zed Games. My name is Zara, and with me in the studio this episode is...
Hazel.
And...
Peter.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, we're back again. You can't get rid of us.
I'm
Damn right.
so glad to be back in the studio.
That is, sorry, Liz just texted in. Sonic on my community radio station. Yes. It's way more likely than you think.
It's a requirement.
It's extremely likely.
Yeah.
It almost happens every week.
It almost every single week that I'm in the announcer chair, which is really weird. I don't know if there's a connection there or something.
Wonder what songs I would play when I was in the announcer chair.
Oh,
We'll see.
That's for you to find out, my friend.
Yeah.
But for now, how are we all doing? How's everyone feeling today?
I'm frozen.
Frozen.
You're frozen.
Yeah, but you know what would help me not be frozen?
Oh, what?
A 4ZZZ retro beanie from the 4ZZZ merch store.
Oh, sick!
Have a look at that.
That is beautiful. Ooh,
I do
that
enjoy a
looks-
good beanie.
If you hop over to...
I am a beanie connoisseur. Ooh.
Yeah, if you hop over to support.4ZZZ.org.au/merch, you can see it for yourself.
It looks pretty sick.
It looks
warm.
extremely good, and I might have to pick one up.
I think it will keep you nearly as warm as the warm inner glow you get when you subscribe to 4ZZZ. That was, I have to say, Hazel, that was beautiful. The really good spruiking.
Yep.
Otherwise, how's things going gaming-wise?
How are we all? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my Warframe addiction grows.
Yes.
You and everybody else I know, they've invited me and I'm just like, no.
Oh.
I have tried multiple times to get into Warframe and I just,
There's a long
Just nothing clicks.
lead in.
There is a very long lead in.
And
we just sort of experienced like almost the title screen moment of the game. About 40 hours in for me, 100 or so hours for you.
Only because I was waiting to do it with you.
Yeah.
Waiting for you to have time for it.
And I don't know. Look, I was in the same boat as you once upon a time, Peter. Warframe freaks were like, you got to play Warframe. And I was like, no, it's too much. It's too overwhelming. I don't understand what's going on. But now I'm here. So I don't know. Maybe you need a bit more character
There's a lot of
development.
grinding I have heard.
Yes.
I enjoy a little bit of grinding, but when it's just excessive, which it sounds like from everything everybody has ever told me.
Okay, here's the thing. Once you become addicted to it and you really want that one thing,
I don't want
then
to.
the grind kicks in.
Look,
I've been considering going back to Final Fantasy 14.
Okay, never mind. You don't need Warframe.
I don't need another grindy.
You know what? You're right. You know your limits, and I respect that. I respect that. While we reflect on our limits, what's this? The week in gaming news.
Oh my god!
Alrighty, this week in gaming news.
Dear parents, games do promote learning, if you can believe it. Games like Assassin's Creed, which explore points in history, often with a bit of a fantastical flair, have not only encouraged deeper research into history, but have also inspired players to get into history in the first place, as a University of Sunshine Coast study has revealed. Quote, history-themed video games and novels actually have a lot in common because the players wanted accuracy, they wanted research, they enjoyed learning about the history in the games, and then they went off and did some of their own learning outside of that play because of the history that the game showed them, said Dr. Burgess, the author of the study.
Yeah.
I love whenever something invokes a bit of passion in someone about a topic.
Yeah.
And it's also really cool how like the research that gets involved in these kind of projects ends up contributing to like the academic scene.
Can I contribute an insane personal anecdote?
Sure, go ahead.
I didn't like horses until my D&D character got a horse.
Yeah.
And now I like horses.
Inspiration for research and learning more can come from any source.
Yeah. Like,
So the
It's
fact that
weird.
it comes from video games isn't surprising. It's glad it's documented now.
yeah, like think about Jurassic Park.
Yep.
Everyone out there knows.
Yeah.
If you're already obsessed with dinosaurs, it was super cool. If you
Yep.
didn't really know about dinosaurs, it was also super cool. And the research that actually went into like the costumes and everything sort of contributed to the research that was happening into prehistoric life. And another really good example is the black hole recreation that they did in Interstellar.
Yeah.
Yes.
They did the simulation so good that it was the best simulation of a black hole at any point because they could pour Hollywood money into it.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Black hole scientists don't have Hollywood money.
No.
Generally not.
They have black hole money, which
Yeah.
is negative.
That's what the government sees in black holes. Black hole money.
In fact, it sucks out all of your money.
Yes.
And stretches it out really thin.
It's almost to the point of
Spaghetti
non-existent.
money. Nintendo Museum Edition. If you're visiting the Nintendo Museum in Tokyo from September onwards, you'll be able to enjoy the new art gallery, which showcases a wide range of concept art, character illustrations, and other game artwork. There was already some art present, however, this will be a large expansion on what is on display. I believe it'll be like a whole floor in the museum dedicated to the art that has been produced by Nintendo over its very long history.
I mean, I'm sure they've got catalogs and catalogs of it sort of idea.
Yeah.
It's just sitting there doing nothing. May as well blow it up on a poster size and put it on a wall.
Yeah, and I've seen some photos of the Nintendo Museum. It looks like an actual museum.
Yeah.
So
Some of the displays they have from some of the stuff before they started doing electronic games. Like, weren't they originally a toaster manufacturer? Like Nintendo made toasters?
They made playing cards, actually.
Yeah.
No, even before that, I think they made a toaster.
Well, they were making playing cards in at the turn of the 20th century,
Yeah.
like over 100 years ago. So I don't know if toasters existed by then, but I'm sure they were doing something else before playing cards.
Yeah, probably. But we can check that out at the Nintendo
and
Museum
some new
if
art.
you're ever in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Oh,
Next up,
yep.
Spartan Survivors will survive. The Halo fan-made game has officially received Microsoft's blessing, saying that they love to see the passion that the team has for the project. The game will have players fighting Covenant and Flood enemies as either Master Chief, there's a reference, Master Chief or Arby.
Yay!
Quoting, "It really is fun and we look forward to getting further in our playthrough and unlocking more stuff," said the Halo representative from Microsoft.
You could not get a better review than that.
Yeah, I mean, if the person that's in charge of Halo at Microsoft says your game is good and wants to play more of it,
There you go. That's going on the box. If I had that kind of
I'm
feedback.
a big Halo fan, so this is now on my list of things I have to go and investigate and get.
Take notes, Lego Company. This is how you do it.
I mean, we've got that Lego Party game coming out from an Australian studio later this year.
Yes, but they also forced that Bionicle fan game to shut down after 8 years of work.
True.
Yes, that was kind of weird. Moving on, news nibbles. Netflix will be delisting over 20 games from its mobile library in July. These games include Hades, Dumb Ways to Die, and Monument Valley series. So if you have a Netflix subscription and you haven't played those games, get going. They're good games. And
they are.
It's only available for a little while longer. Hazel, what has Xbox done here?
Xbox has combined forces with Meta to launch the Meta Quest 3S Xbox Edition, which players can use the Xbox app to play a massive library of games through Xbox Cloud Gaming. So, what is this? Is it a specific piece of hardware from the Meta Quest lineup?
It's Xbox themed.
Yep.
So it's in the Xbox colors.
Is
like
it green or black?
And green.
Or black and green? Okay.
Primarily black and green.
Right.
And you know, it's a quest. Still.
Yep.
But
so VR.
Yep. And it's got native Xbox support in there, so you can just, if you have Game Pass, whatever.
So essentially, I sit on the couch, I put on the headset, and I've got a big, massive TV I can play Xbox games in front of me.
Yes.
Right. I'm getting one for the plane.
Okay. What I'm curious about is
in the cloud.
The cloud part might be difficult.
Yeah,
yes,
I was going to say.
Does the regular Meta Quest have Xbox Cloud Gaming support, or is this unique to the special edition?
I am not sure, actually. I thought that, you could get access to Xbox games through the MetaQuest already. The same way that you can access, like, Steam games and stuff. It's just a little bit tedious, the process.
Well, we were
Makes
saying
sense.
that games encourage people to do their own research and learn things, so maybe our listeners should do their own research and find out.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Adi Shankar, showrunner behind Netflix's Castlevania and Devil May Cry, has obtained the rights for Duke Nukem.
He's obtained the rights for everything at this point.
Pretty much. He's becoming a little bit of a... what was that game called? Katamari.
Yeah.
Situation where he's just sort of rolling around and absorbing more and more games.
He will
and
bring
then animated
everything to
series.
Netflix.
Yeah.
What do we think will be next on his...
Classic game title, something that's been around for a long time. Probably should have had an animation at some point.
Halo.
Halo.
Halo? No, Halo had animations.
No,
and stuff
but
though.
It had Halo Legends, but it didn't have like an actual story with a narrative series in the way that Adi
That should
Shankar
have
did.
been good.
Although, to be honest, with how dedicated he is to sticking to the source material, the Halo live-action TV show may as well could have been written by him.
True.
Okay. Ouch. Okay, moving on to some upcoming games. Peter, what's coming out on June 26th, aka today?
26th, today, we have Front Mission 3 Remake for the Switch, Death Stranding 2 On the Beach for the PS5, Persona 5 The Phantom X on PC, iOS and Android, Ruffy and the Riverside, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch and PC. Good to see one still coming to the Xbox One. System Shock 2 25th Anniversary Remaster for the PS5, PS4, Xbox Series XS, Xbox One and PC.
Hazel, what's on the June 27th?
On June 27th, we have got Horizon Journey coming to PC and Tamagotchi Plaza coming to Switch.
Awesome. And on July the 1st, we've got Echo Paradox for the PC. That's it this week in gaming news.
That was the news.
Bam. Alrighty, Peter, I think, sorry, I don't know why I'm saying your name like that. I think you have, Peter, you have what's this? A review? Peter.
Whoa.
That's pretty good. Oh, yeah.
Sometimes a game doesn't need to be long, complex, or even all that challenging. It just needs to be kind. Pilo and the Holobook was exactly that kind of game for me. A short, sweet little adventure wrapped in a bright and friendly package that reminded me why I still love games that don't ask too much, but quietly give a lot. In this storybook-styled exploration game, you play as Pilo, a wide-eyed fennec fox-like explorer bouncing between planets with your trusty Holobook, a mix between a camera and a magical scrapbook. You scan the world around you, collecting stickers and filling up pages in your journal as you piece together what happens to these once beautiful worlds, now touched by a mysterious dark force known as the Tar. There's something very nostalgic about collecting stickers and arranging them in a journal. It's creative and playful, like being handed a notebook and a pile of colourful stamps and just being told, have fun. The visuals are easily one of the highlights. Each world feels hand-painted, small enough to be manageable, but full of little details that make you want to linger. From space whales to dusty deserts, it all felt like part of a bigger, imaginative universe, but never so large that I felt overwhelmed or lost. Just curious, just cozy. There were a few small, rough-edged moments from where objectives weren't as clear as they could have been, or where I wasn't quite sure what the game wanted from me next. Some of the puzzles in the later part of the game do ramp up a little in complexity. There were a few where placing stickers in just the right spots or orientation in the Holobook wasn't as intuitive as it could have been. The game doesn't explain these parts as well as it could. Nothing ever broke or bugged out for me, but I did wish for a few more clues or clearer instructions here and there. But they were never enough to take me away from the charm of the experience. The soundtrack aided in engrossing me in the experience. Composer Corentin Bassarat describes his audio as an orchestral and synth-based love letter to early 2000s RPGs, and it delivers on that promise. It creates a sense of quiet curiosity, wrapping each world in a comforting atmosphere that makes exploring feel even more rewarding. It felt like part of the experience rather than something to tune out to. I can really see Pilo and the Holobook becoming one of those go-to games for families, especially parents looking for something that can either play with their kids or let them explore on their own. I kept thinking this would be great for one of my friends' kids. There's something very accessible and rewarding about it, especially early on. It's simple enough for newcomers, but has just enough depth in later puzzles that it encourages problem solving, patience and curiosity. And if a younger player gets stuck, it feels like a natural opportunity to sit together and figure it out as a team. I could see it as a game to sit down and enjoy together on a quiet afternoon, or for short bursts over multiple nights as a wind-down game before bed, especially if played on a handheld system. Pilo and the Holobook isn't trying to be epic, it's not trying to wow you with scale or innovation, but what it does with heart. It's the kind of game you can finish in a single sitting, and when it ends, you feel like you've just closed the final pages of a beautifully illustrated storybook.
Wow.
If you're looking for something kind, colourful and calm, whether for yourself or to share with someone younger, Pilo and the Holobook is absolutely worth your time. It's currently accessible on PC, PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and the Nintendo Switch.
Wow. That was a
Usually around $19, but it's on sale for like 10 or something on some systems sometimes.
I love that review, Peter.
That's beautiful. Oh.
Thank you.
I feel like, yeah.
Questions?
We play a lot of games as like adults. Not so many games for kids. Paul's definitely reviewed a few. So it's kind of always nice to sort of like have that in mind and think, oh, this is a game that a child could play. More importantly, it's a game that you could play with your child, which I think is
this one nice. Definitely, like from the moment I started it up, it's bright, it's colourful, it's got its own sort of sense of humour and very much encourages exploration. And I could see a kid just wandering around the same worlds, looking at the exact same things multiple times, but still enjoying themselves.
The weekly dose of science on 4ZZZ is now available as a podcast.
I learned that you can hear the difference between different water temperatures when they're poured. I'm going to pour one after the other into a different glass, and you have to tell me which one is which temperature. I've got a hot and a cold. Right, here's the first one. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm saying cold.
It sounds cool. Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Here's the second one. Well played.
Shut up. Search No Idea 4ZZZ on your favourite podcasting app. That's spelled K-N-O-W, like no idea. It's a visual pun on an audio platform. I don't know why we did it.
You're listening to Zed Games. My name is Zara, and with me in the studio this episode is Hazel and Peter. But we don't have time to talk because it is now time for Paul to talk about his review about A Cursed Yo-Yo.
Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo is described by its marketing team as the world's first Yo-Yo-vania. I hate this. Yes, it's a Metroidvania, but we already know there's a yo-yo involved from the title. Also, the main character's name is Pipette Pipistrello, and I wouldn't call any of my children that. This is pretty much where my complaints end, however. Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo is the latest game by Brazilian developer Pocket Trap, and it's quite the title. You play Pipette, who I guess is a bat? I don't really know, you're blue with big ears, but Pipistrello is apparently bat in Italian, so that's good enough for me. Anyway, while visiting your fabulously wealthy aunt, you come under attack from 4 crime bosses who tear your aunt's soul apart until you intervene and get a bit of her soul trapped in your yo-yo. So it's kind of a Horcrux. You are then tasked with confronting each crime boss in order to restore your aunt's soul. So your aunt is the good guy, right? Well, no. She controls all the energy in town and has exploited the population due to her monopoly. You're just some rich kid who wastes their time being terrible at the yo-yo. Like always, the real villain is capitalism.
Must crush capitalism.
It does result in some interesting plot points, however, as Pipette pushes back against his aunt-infected yo-yo. So, the game, I hear you all yell. Well, it's a Zelda-inspired top-down adventure with strong ties to the Game Boy Advance era. It has a lot unique going on for it, however. Aside from a pretty fresh collection of moves and power-ups, the game has a densely packed hub world, a city you will navigate to each of the game's individual dungeons. The city is full of characters, secrets to find, and just fun art, which makes exploring an absolute joy. I spent hours just walking around the city without even attempting my goals, just to see what was there. After the introduction, you'll get the option to confront 2 of the bosses in any order you desire, and that quickly makes the game feel less prescribed than many in the genre. Make your own path. A big departure to convention is how the game handles upgrades. When an upgrade is available, you can select it immediately and you're given a debt. In fact, you don't even have the option to pay for it with available money because the person you're buying from is a germaphobe that doesn't want to touch any of your dirty cash. Instead, your earnings will be garnished until the debt is paid off. The extra twist is that during this loan period, you'll also have a negative effect applied to your character. This is a brilliantly original idea that lets the player engage with new upgrades as soon as they wish, but gives them a meaningful temporary sacrifice if they choose to. And this keeps progress moving forward. The game always feels like there's something pushing you forward. The main plot is fun enough, but all the characters in the world really give it character. There are secrets and puzzles everywhere that will utilize your yo-yo traversal skills, and of course combat, which by default can get pretty hectic. Now, in recent times, I've given a bit of praise to games that give freedom to players to tailor difficulty to their liking, and Pipistrello is very open to that. You can turn off types of damage, make yourself hit harder, take less damage, have enemies drop more money, give yourself more or less health, etc. Truly, a lot of freedom is put in our hands. And for once, I found it a bit of a problem. I needed to be shamed. I like to engage in options for a review, but once I knew they were there, that little gremlin that lives inside me couldn't forget. Sure, my new power-up took away 2 hearts of health, but I could just give myself another 2 hearts in the menu. I wouldn't begrudge a game for options, and it does make the game more accessible, but when friction occurred, it was hard to resist at points. Your will may be tested. This game also trolled me expertly. When you first start, it displays the game being played on a 3D rendered Game Boy Advance style handheld, and you can actually play the whole game with that interface exposed. That's a little too gimmicky for me, but you could also use filters to emulate a chunky LCD screen and even give glass reflections. I quite liked the LCD emulation, so I played with that on. And then, on my Steam Deck, I saw a dead pixel. Oh god, the horror. After an investigation, I discovered the game was emulating a dead pixel. I think the inclusion of such a pointless, stupid, and hilarious feature goes a long way to explaining the mindset of the developers at Pocket Trap. Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo is an excellent yo-yo-vania, full of charm, unique gameplay, challenging scenarios, and a love of the games that have come before it. The game is available on all major platforms for around $30 Australian. I played the game with code provided by the publisher.
Thank you for that review, Paul. That was delightful. And I also got a little recommendation from a Zed head out there. Drew has recommended Ina Dream Barbecue as a game to check out, and it looks pretty sick. So I think I might just check it out. We're coming up to the end of the show. I know. It's okay. Just breathe in, and breathe out. We'll be back next week. But oh my gosh, I've got a sneaky little mini review I wanted to share with all of you tonight. So let's get into that. You wake up in the void with no memory other than the deep sense that something horrible has happened to you in life that has left you in limbo.
This happens to me every Monday morning.
I was going to say, yeah, this sounds like a normal Monday.
Can you find your way back to the living to make things right? Should you? The River by Bokchoi is a point-and-click narrative game A short game that takes 30 to 50 minutes to complete. Its black and white pixel art style and haunting music left an impression on me. It tells the story of you, an anonymous spirit trying to remember your identity, your actions, and your values, so that you can finally move on. You're not quite alone in this journey, however, with a guide through the afterlife guiding you towards your memories. Bit by bit, you come across other souls who have experienced unbelievable loss and terror, and you know that somehow you are linked. And you start to develop a picture of what that link is, how your lives are connected, and subsequently your deaths. It's really sad at times. The child who is alone, the toy maker who hid, the warrior who gave up her life for nothing. You learn how innocent people died because of the breakdown of a madman. Bad people do bad things, but sometimes they can do good things. And sometimes good people can do bad things. The River by Bokchoi will take you on a journey of loss and the desire for justice, how important memories are, how defining memories are, how you can be good and brave and still lose the fight, how you can be everything that is good in humanity until the pain of loneliness, the fear of loneliness strikes, and how sometimes justice is met in unexpected and perhaps undesirable ways. The River can be played on PC. It is available for free on Steam.
Nice.
Yeah.
Game's a good game.
Yeah, it's a very, very short game. You can play it in a single sitting, and I highly recommend making sure that you've got headphones on and that you're all alone, because it's just a really beautiful experience. But it tells its story, and then it's done. Speaking of done, well, that's kind of all we got for tonight. But before we scamper off, what have you two been playing recently? Other than trying to recruit Peter into Warframe.
Yeah, still not likely going to happen.
What have you been up to, Peter?
Getting into WoW. There's been a new update, and they just announced the next patch.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Toby, do not. Toby, do not. Toby, do not.
You sound like you're telling off a dog.
Other than that, I've been enjoying a new game that had a free demo. I think it's gone now, though, from the Steam Next Fest. Jump Ship.
Oh, yeah.
4-player co-op space game, set kind of roguelike-y elements with Sea of Thieves running in and out of your ship, trying to repair stuff and put shield panels back on and whatnot. Good bit of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it from me.
I've sort of been working my way through some of the demos for the game. So we're at Queensland Games Festival.
They were good fun.
Yeah, so
I really liked Stellar Scavengers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, go on about it, because you weren't here on the episode last week.
I thought it was great. It was the only one that I really got to sit down and spend time on by myself.
That was the space strategy-esque roguelite.
It was like if somebody played Homeworld and played FTL and then tried to make a game.
Yeah.
I've been... So, Schrodinger's Cat Burglar finally has a demo now. So I've been sort of like... There's a little...
Puzzle solving.
Maybe not so much puzzle solving, more like finding like the cute little features that are in the game. Like, for example, you can pat the cat. It's just that...
Always a good game, then.
There's no one else to pat the cat but the cat.
Oh.
Yes. The cat pats itself.
Cats cats. I mean, that is a thing that cats do.
Yeah, they're famously independent creatures. They will pet themselves if they have to. They won't be happy about it.
No.
They much prefer that someone else does it. But some cats are just like that.
There's a very cute animation which you can see on the Schrodinger's Cat Burglar socials of Mittens, the main character that you play as, sort of looking very confused as they raise a paw up and pat themselves on the head.
Kind of like,
and they're just
okay, this is...
is this what I'm meant to be doing?
Is this right? Yeah. Is this accurate?
Oh, it's so cute. And what else? What else had a demo that's out? I think Later Skater also has a demo out as well. That's just fun.
I want Rodent Rollers, but with like 100-hour campaign.
What would
full in-depth lore?
Yeah, don't ask me what that means. I just want it.
All right. Well, that is for the developers behind Road and Rollers to figure out, I think.
Yeah, I think it'll take them about a month.
How about a level that is just 100 hours long?
Like
just no loading, just continuously level to level.
Wow.
Are there save points?
No.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
But people do it.
There's a thing in Trackmania called trial maps, which are often either like several minutes between checkpoints or no checkpoints at all, and they take like hours to finish.
Oh, terrifying. All right, well, if you all need to go through some sort of personal hell, maybe give that a try.
I want to go through personal hell.
Maybe play one of the other games we were talking about.
Yeah.
But for now, in the meantime, goodbye, good night, play games, and I love you.
Have fun.
Bye.
I love you too.
Thanks for listening to Zed Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, you can find us on the Community Radio Plus app.
Or find us on socials at ZED Games AU.
See you next time.